Kano State took place at Maliki registration area of Kumboso local government of Kano State. Maliki was picked by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Kano because of its semi-urban nature. The test consists of practical demonstration of voter accreditation process using the permanent voter card and the newly introduced card readers. Many of the 54 polling points in the Maliki area of Kano State were besieged by residents keen to partake in the exercise, while at some voting points only a few residents were present. Observers from within and outside the country also witnessed the practical demonstration of voter accreditation using the PVCs and the card readers. Foreign observers who declined to speak to us on camera adjudged the exercise a success. While some politicians are confident and happy with the card reader test, others called on INEC to do more simulations to ensure seamless use of the card readers during election.
I am now confident that INEC is ready, and the exercise, as far as we see it now, is very successful. Issues I wanted to ask had been practically seen.
I am calling on the INEC as we flee to them the other time. We are calling on them to still improve the situation. We have 3 weeks to the election, exactly 21 days to the election. So within that 21 days, we can do a lot of things.
Some residents say they are impressed with the exercise.
There's not any problem. Actually, speaking, everything are moving smoothly. Everything is all right.
All people come in this work. That is not problem in this work.
Independent National Electoral Commission officials in Kano described the card reader test as a success in the state and hope to address the few hitches encountered during the exercise.
There are many places where really authentication fail, but we are of course aware of authentication may fail here and there. Don't forget also, people were registered about 4 years ago. Only very few were registered last November. Therefore, from that time up to now, some fingers, some may have problems using oil and what have you. That is why we provided incidence forms.
Kano State was picked by Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) amongst 12 states where the workability and durability of the newly introduced card reader machines would be put to test. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.
Welcome back. That report from our correspondent Ibrahim Isa talking about the simulation in 12 states, especially he was talking about Kano State. Jide, to set the record straight, will you say they passed this test in flying colors?
I will say that the card reader passed the test. I will not say in flying colors. The card reader passed the test. It would have been in flying colors if INEC had done a little bit of voter education, because there is nothing wrong with this technology. In fact, we need something like this because it will banish election rigging, and even politicians won't have to spend all the millions they spend, on litigation, post-election litigation. So the card reader is a good technology. And one thing we observed was that during the simulation, those who brought cloned cards, the card reader rejected the cloned cards.
I think there was a case in Rivers State.
Yes. In Bauchi State, especially, it rejected a lot of fingerprints. One, because some of them had ointment on their thumbs. Some had oil or any greasy material, which we said sometime last week on this program that people will have problems with the card reader on account of that. I expected INEC to have been doing a lot of voter education. That, look, this can compromise the card reader. So you don't have to put so much oil on your palm or on your thumb, knowing that you are going to use the card reader. But you see, a lot of them too, who didn't even have greasy palms, a lot of people could, their fingerprints were not read by the card reader in some cases. So what what INEC has said is that, well, when you are faced with that situation and they've tried repeatedly to see what they could do about it, you now fill an incident report form. So after that incident report form, then you can be allowed to vote.
On the same election day?
Yes, but what I don't know is how many people will be filling incident report form on election day.
Eshomomo, what are those noticeable problems that INEC need to sort out before the election?
I think let me just take it up from where Jide stopped, talking about filling the incident form. I think INEC will need to be very careful with that process, because if you say after attempting to use the card reader and it's not reading your biodata well, then you fill an incident form. I hope some people will not take advantage of that and just bypass the card reader and straight go to use.
Process.
Exactly, because if you are opening a window, some desperate people will take advantage of that window you've opened and jettison the door. The door is the card reader and the window is this incident form. I hope INEC officials that will be on ground will not be under pressure to jettison the card readers, and everyone will come and fill incident form. Now, if you fill incident form, how are you going to authenticate that the people did not go through the card reader before using that? So it might just be a window for those who have been asking, probably, that never wanted the card reader ab initio.
Do you see INEC rectifying some of this problem before the election? Now, in Obalende, somebody was talking about Obalende. I was reading it online this morning and saying that somebody came with a PVC. The PVC was not recognized by the card reader, and they were about to lynch this particular person, and the person kept insisting that he collected the PVC from INEC, and that is the PVC given to him by INEC. That is not a clone one, that they should check all the security features, that is ready to submit himself for every other check, that he collected it and his name is on the register. So, and the card reader cannot read it.
Yes, let me attempt the question from the very basis of the question you asked. How does INEC rectify all the anomalies noticed during the simulation exercise? I think it goes beyond INEC. I think what we should be talking is how are Nigerians going to assist INEC to scale some of these hurdles? Ayo, in this modern age and at the level of our development in Nigeria, we should be ashamed that our elections are not reference points. When you want to make reference point about election in Nigeria, you continue to talk of South Africa, Ghana, Senegal. So if there's any exercise that will make Nigeria election to scale that hurdle, I think it is the responsibility of an average Nigerian to make sure that that thing works on the day of election. What do you mean by democracy? Government of the people. And the issue of government of the people is through elections. I came across a guy in Port Harcourt, late December, who told me that the much celebrated 2011 elections, he voted 13 times the same day.
13 times?
Yes. I came across a lady, she's a university student in Anambra, that the last election they held in Anambra, that is the governorship election, she voted 11 times.
This Anambra governorship
the last election.
The last one.
So I think that should give an average.
Some states it was really bad.
That should give an average Nigerian concern. So if somebody is now coming with anything that will wipe out all these anomalies, it should be supported. Now to the issues you have raised. Some of us are still aghast, let me use that word, that they said they discovered clone cards. How many of them were taken by the security agencies? To know the root of these clone cards, I don't think I have any record of any. As to the guy who claimed that he collected that thing from INEC, I think that one should have been cleared by today, because INEC has its own database where these things originated from. It doesn't take long to test this thing and confirm the source of this thing. There's the need for us to march towards March 28 with that assurance that we are going to have credible election that people of the world can make reference to. We should be tired of all these things we call elections. If somebody could vote 13 times in one day, my brother, that's not election. Nigerians should be worried.
Way forward. Before these 2 weeks and before that election, the card reader, how do we fix all this?
Well, I wish they can.
Hiccups.
I wish INEC can continue this exercise.
Okay.
Because,
to make it a continuous one.
Yes, because look, what people are saying. Of course, a lot of us Nigerians get unnecessarily emotional. What people are saying, and even some of the tweets that I'm reading on our site, what people are saying is that they should have test run this with a smaller election. Okay. You know? And INEC had the opportunity to test run the card reader during the Ekiti and the Osun election. In fact, APC continued to call for it.
The Coalition of Democrats for Electoral Reform.
APC called repeatedly for it. For reasons best known to INEC, it refused to deploy the card readers for the election. Now you can imagine what will have happened if we had gone for this election on the 14th without any test running of any kind. It will have been catastrophic, and in some cases it will lead to violence, because I know Nigerians are impatient. You can't tell a person who is sure that he registered, you gave him a card, and then everything, the security features are present, you are telling him that he cannot vote because the card didn't read his fingerprint. That can't be his fault. So that is the thing. INEC should have done this earlier. But now we know that we have no choice now. I expect INEC to continue voter education, and I expect INEC to continue this simulation process so that other lapses, other hiccups will be exposed at this stage. And once they are exposed, the INEC can now move with single-mindedness to address those problems so that the election can be hitch-free.
Moving forward now, we want to talk about the war on terror, and we have our correspondent, Michael Oshoma from Borno State, to give us updates on Nigerian Army recapturing Buniyadi, Buningeri town, both in Yobe State. Michael.
Yeah.
Good evening, Michael.
Good evening.
Can you please give us the situation on ground in the about the army recapturing Buniyadi and Buningeri?